Okay, so first question. So Wayne, first of all, welcome to Norway and welcome to Circus Bazaar.
Yeah, thank you very much.
How did you find yourself in Norway?
I got offered by Chris from Frontline Muay Thai to come over here and teach some seminars for the weekend. So it was just a little hop, skip and a jump 35-hour plane ride here. But I finally made it, and not too jet lagged, thank goodness. So yeah, just here for Saturday and Sunday, and then go back home Monday. So just very fast, but excited.
So you're getting into giving seminars internationally now?
Yeah, it's been really crazy. Just the last couple of years, I've been lucky enough to go New Zealand, America, now Norway, Canada. So, and then the doors are opening again. I've got not more, and hopefully England next year, off to Mexico. Sweden's asked for seminars. It's really gone crazy. So I'm very lucky to be in a position I am to do something that I really enjoy.
I mean, you're a professional Thai boxer and a promoter, but not everyone that follows Circus Bazaar knows so much about fight sports. So why don't you just give a little bit of a rundown to our audience of who you are and what you do for a job?
Okay.
Where is your office, man?
My name's Parr. I've had 117 Muay Thai fights now. Muay Thai consists of boxing techniques with also kicks, knees and elbows. It's very much like UFC but with no ground, and we'll wear traditional boxing gloves. I'm a little bit different to your conventional Muay Thai fighter. I went and lived in Thailand for 5 years, so I did like a Muay Thai apprenticeship. So other people might go and do a course or a trade, where I went to learn to beat people up. So in that time, I started off in the baby circuit, just working my way up, and ended up winning 2 world titles in Thailand, beating the Thais at their own sport. And now I've come back to Australia. I've opened my own gym that I run with my wife now, and then yeah, I just travel the world. But if I'm not fighting, I'm teaching at the gym and looking after my students, or traveling doing seminars. So yeah, I took something as a 10-year-old hobby and made into a career now. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride, but it's been so much fun.
But most people that go to Thailand these days stay in like a nice hotel room and they train and they party and they get massages twice a day. I mean, that's what I did when I trained in Thailand for a couple of months. But I mean, you did the Ridgy Dig experience, didn't you?
Yeah, I got picked up by a camp in Bangkok, and then when I was showing around the camp, they said, okay, this is where going to be your bedroom, and it's pretty much a wooden floor, and I was sleeping side by side, like a dorm with the other Thai boxers. And then the toilet facility was just a hole in the ground with no toilet paper. We had to pour water into your hand to wipe off the excess feces. And then there was no hot water or a shower. You had to have a little bucket that you wet your body with. You put soap on, and then you had to use the bucket to wash off. And I lived like that for 4 years full time, and then a year on and off as well. And then yeah, practically fighting for $20 a fight to start off with, and then I gradually worked my way up the rankings and started to fight in the A-class guys and become a regular on Thai TV and making. I was the first Westerner to make the front cover of their Thai boxing magazine, and yeah, it was sort of from that base in Thailand, the rest of the world was watching, and then all the other offers from the promoters started coming in saying, "Oh, we'd like to fight in Japan, Europe, everywhere else." So from there, it's just yeah, it's been really cool. It's been fun to fulfill my so-called destiny that I'm trying to live out.
Yeah, living the dream.
Living the dream, the Thai boxing dream.
Yeah. But in recent times, you've become quite a figure over in the USA with the rise of the UFC. So you spent some time training George St-Pierre in Canada,
yes,
Montreal.
Montreal.
Yeah. So tell us about that experience.
So in January, I was lucky enough to be picked up to do 7 seminars in Ottawa, which was really cool. Nick Castilla brought me over for a little while, and then I had 4 days left over before I was done. And they said, "Oh, would you like the opportunity to go to Montreal and meet George?" And as a massive fight fan, it's like, yeah, of course, I'd love to meet George. George is cool. So we jumped in the car. We drove 2-3 hours, and then got to meet all the guys. I watched them wrestle. And then Faraz, the owner of TriStar, he said, "Oh, tomorrow is Muay Thai Day. If you like to stay tomorrow, if you like to spar George or Rory McDonald and all these other guys." I was like, oh, this is the ultimate dream to test my skills against someone who I've looked up to for all these years. So next day came, we padded up and we did some rounds, and as we touched gloves at the start of the round, I was so starstruck and so nervous. I was like a little girl. And then the round started, and I did okay. I held my own, and then I took some photos with George at the end, and I thought that was all. That was going to be it. Good memories, something to put on Facebook. And then just a couple months ago, I got an email from Faraz saying, would you like to come back to TriStar in Montreal and help George train for the Johnny Hendricks fight? So at first I couldn't believe what I was reading, and then he said, no, we're serious. You don't have to do any classes, you don't have to do any seminars, all you have to do is train George personally for 2 weeks. I was like, yeah, for sure, I'd love to come over. So went over, and then I got to just hang out with GSP the whole time, and he's such a just a normal guy. You see him on the TV, and he's just this superstar. But then in real life, he's just one of the boys. He's really just so friendly, so easygoing. And then but you don't realize how famous he is until you're actually with him. So people on the street, like the first 50 odd photos that he took, I thought, oh wow, this guy's crazy. And then after about the 1000th, then you realize what superstardom can do to people, how it's isolated they become, and how much no freedom at all. He can't go down the street, even in the car. He driving the car at the red lights, people are honking and tooting and calling his name. So yeah, complete no privacy, no. He's got good friends of his that are his bodyguards as well. So when he goes to the club, he just doesn't get harassed all night. He can't walk from the VIP table to the toilet without having people just non-stop all over him. So I really feel sorry for him in that respect. He's a dead set superstar, but to have no privacy, I think that's rough. That's hard.
Yeah, for sure. But his fight with Hendricks was obviously pretty controversial, and you were there and you helped train him. And what are your views on it?
I thought going into the fifth round, it was very close. Whoever won the fifth round was going to determine the winner. George did amazing in the fifth. He took him down, he held him down, he almost got the submission with the Kimura. I haven't rewatched it yet, so I was very emotionally attached watching it live because I'd trained him and he's a friend, and I might have been one-eyed, but I still believe he won the first, the third, and the fifth. Yeah, it was such a good fight. But and having so many fights, I think the fight was close and everything else, and he won the fight. But his after-fight speech was what caused most of the controversy, with wanting to hang the gloves up for a little while and just find himself again, just become a little bit lost with so much pressure of being George St-Pierre. It'd be nice maybe for him just to get away to on holidays and just not have anyone know him for a little while, go to a remote island and just be yourself. But apparently the UFC didn't like that idea. They started doing backflips, and the scrutiny that followed him after that speech was, I thought, very inappropriate for who he is and what he's done for the sport and for the brand, because he's such the good guy, such the face of UFC, and for them to backflip on him the way that they did, I thought it was not very fair. So, but it's all come down now. Everything has that 2 week of crazy when things go mad, and it's just like the John Jones Gustafsson fight. That was very controversial as well, but that's all under the table now. So I'm sure that this one, after another couple of weeks, will disappear. Maybe Ronda Rousey and Misha Tate will be the new flavour that will cause all the controversy. So we'll see what happens.
But I mean, because you helped train him, I mean, how do you think things could have been done differently from his end as far as taking on Johnny Hendricks?
It's such a hard fight because Johnny's got such good takedown defense and such a good wrestler, and George had no other option but to stand and try and trade with him. From a Muay Thai perspective, I would have done things a little bit differently. Instead of, I would have fought him as you would fight a normal southpaw. But it's hard because George has so many different trainers and so many conflicting ideas on how to fight someone. At the end of the day, because you're in that moment, you're just left with your muscle memory. So everything's an automatic reflex. So yeah, it's a hard one. I'm sure if I had to spend a bit more time with him, it would have been a different fight. But the guys that he's with, they gave him what to do. So, but he got the win, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, they're both monsters. They're both incredible fighters.
Yes.
And I mean, your career, your whole fight career. I mean, you've consistently fought monsters.
Yes.
I mean, and you've taken on the best fighters you possibly can. There's hardly any fights in your career that have been just walkaways.
Yep.
So, I mean, what motivates you to keep taking on these guys? Like,
don't know. Ever since I was a little guy, my earliest memories is all I wanted to do was be a fighter. It wasn't kickboxing at that stage. It was just a fighter. I just wanted to be a fighter, no matter what happened. Yeah, and then for some reason I'm 37 years old now, and I still have that same drive as I did when I was 4. And money's also a factor. I like getting paid. I like living my lifestyle. I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job. I just go to the gym in the morning. I train. I teach a few classes. I get to go home at lunchtime, spend time with my family. Go back to the gym in the afternoon, train again, teach a class again, and then yeah, I got all the time in the world. And because my job's so fun, it's not a job, so it's just awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent among like really successful fighters that they just keep doing it. Yeah. I mean, you just can't get off it.
Yeah, and I'm addicted to the rush. I tried to retire last year, and there's nothing that compares to walking out to. Back in Australia, I've got a good fan base. Have close to we get between say 2,000 and 5,000 people to a show. In Japan, when I was fighting for K1, we had crowds of 40,000, and then in Thailand, it could be anywhere from 60, 70, up to 100,000 people at a fight show in a like big open stadiums with a ring in the middle. So, yeah, it's walking out in front of those crowds.
What's the biggest crowd you fought in Thailand?
King's birthday. So I did that 4 times, and that's over 100,000 plus. So it's a celebration of the king. Everyone gets a candle at the start of the night. Everyone raises the candle up, and they sing the happy birthday song to the king, and they sing the Thai anthem. And then it's just a celebration of everything Thai. So there's not just Thai boxing. There's all these different things, activities going on the outside. But in the middle is the boxing ring. And then back in the day, anyway, in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was the best Thais versus the best foreigners. So it was an invitation only. So just the fight on the show in itself, you're a winner already. And then to beat the Thais in front of the Thais live on TV, you sort of become, yeah, this. They take it really well if you win because you're showing you're not there to lose. You're beating them at their own sport, so they really appreciate it. There's no hard feelings. So yeah, it's very cool. It's very nice to get respect from the Thais for their culture.
Yeah, for sure. But how many years fighting now?
From myself, 23.
Right.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, over the years, I mean, you take punishment. Like, what's enabled you to like consistently fight for so long? I mean, how's your fight style adapted? Have you become a fighter that takes less punishment and like teeps more and controls the distance, so you can sort of have more longevity?
Yeah, the different like you were saying, the difference between boxing and Thai boxing. Boxing, the majority of the impact is in the head, so they if they fight too long, there's a chance they get brain damage. Whereas Thai boxing, we take a lot of kicks to the leg, to the body, lots of cuts from elbows and stuff. But the majority of the guys don't have sustained brain injuries. So Thai boxing, after a hard fight, you might have a sore leg for a week or 2, but then once the bruising's gone, you're back to normal again. So I think as long as you have that drive and you want to be successful, I think you can go as long as you want. And then I've also been very blessed, if you'd say. A lot of guys that I know that have 10 fights, 20 fights, they might blow a knee or they might pop a shoulder. Yeah. Whereas I've never had anything serious at this stage in Lockwood. Just majority is superficial stuff. Because we fight with elbows, I've had 270 stitches from fighting with the elbows, getting lots of cuts. So, and they heal pretty fast. They just instant wrinkles. So no, it's all. I'm being very, very lucky.
So spending so much time in Thailand, I mean, you've become a real student of the Thai way of fighting and their culture and their people.
Yep.
But so you learn a lot about them and the way they think. And not everybody knows, but you spent time as a monk.
Yes. Yes.
Tell us about that.
One of the Thai trainers, when I got sort of accepted into this camp, I was the first Westerner that they've ever had, and it was like being stuck in the middle of Sydney, and you're the only white person in all of Sydney. So my instructor said, I don't want you to just teach you Thai boxing. I want you to be a Thai. I want to teach you everything Thai. So I gradually learned how to speak the language. I learned their customs. I learned Thai boxing, of course. And then I never see white people, so I was just sort of become one after so many years. I started thinking Thai. I got to that stage. And then I came back to Australia, and then my sponsor, who's Thai, that lives in Australia, he said, oh, I've got 2 sons, and they're both going over to be monks. I think you should go with them. I think that's the only thing to make you a complete 100% white Thai. I think you should go with them and become a monk also. I said, oh mate, I'd love to become a monk. I reckon that'd be cool. So we jetted off. We got all our possessions removed, our wallets and clothes and everything, and we're just given our robes. And then got our head shaved and our eyebrow shaved off, and then spent the next 7 days living inside the temple. And then what happens when you're a monk? You get given a bowl with a lid, and then you walk this lap, and every morning the people on the streets, they give you food offerings, and then you say a prayer to them, and then it helps get them calmer. So whatever food you get given that day is what you live on for the day. And so if no one gives you food, you don't eat. If you get food, then you have good blessings, good karmas also. It teaches you to be very humble. It teaches you that without TV, radio, newspaper, life can be very simple. Or if you got shelter and you got food in your stomach, life's not that hard. If you don't believe all the hype, or if you don't believe that the world's going to end tomorrow, it's a pretty good place. So yeah, it's just learn to be happy. And it's funny that the richer the country, the more problems and the more issues they have. The poorer the country, the more happy they seem. So that's what the biggest thing that I learned from my little time away in the temple.
Yeah, right. So do you consider yourself a Buddhist?
Yeah, you could pretty much say that. I believe in being a good person. If I believe in karma. I believe if you be what you do to people, it has a tendency of coming back to you again. So yeah, if you can just a couple little things, just if you don't go to the clubs, and if you just stick to yourself, and if you smile a lot, then you'll notice that everyone else is smiling around you as well. If you go into a club with a bad attitude and you're looking for trouble, it'll find you pretty fast.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, you're decked out in Sakyang as well.
Yep.
I mean, it's supposed to bring good luck, magic,
yes,
protection.
Yes.
And tell us about that. I mean.
Okay, so I got 2 on my back. One is I can't get shot, and the other one I can't get stabbed. Since I've had them, I haven't been shot or stabbed.
Yeah.
This is. So yeah, I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah. So this sort of spiritual side that you've embraced like pretty heavily, obviously.
Yeah.
And how has you woven that into fighting? I mean, does it help you? Because training for fights, the way you do, it's almost like spiritual cleansing.
Yes.
So how does that help?
I think fighting is one of the most ancient things that a human being can possibly do.
It's basically deprivation before fights. I mean,
yes.
It's like.
Yes. It's pitting 2 unarmed men against each other. There's no technology behind it. There's no wielding a bat. There's no bowling a ball. It's just 2 men battling it out, and then your whole drive is to knock that other person unconscious, and that feeling of knocking someone unconscious is the greatest rush on this planet. So that's why I do it, because it's just unbelievable. I consider it like the movie Highlander. I've said this multiple times in the past. You knock someone out, and the referee waves it away, and you can feel the lightning coming from the sky, and you can't sleep for a week. It's just, you can't turn it off. You're just smiling, and your energy is just ridiculous. So it's very cool. It's hard. Every time I fight, I walk around about 86, 88 kilos, and I fight at 72, 73 kilos. So I got to drop 15, 17 kilos every fight, which is so like you said, deprivation. I got to pretty much starve myself. So every week I got to lose weight while I'm getting fitter at the same time. So it's very mental. And then you weigh in 24 hours before the fight. You check your weight. Once you get the tick, then everyone's approved. And then I have a 24-hour job to try and re-energize. And in that time frame, I can put on between 10 and 12 kilos of food and fluid. So, and then once you cross the ropes, and then that's a added factor again that's going to help you punch that little bit more harder than the guy that you're competing against. Or when you get into the clinch or with the knees, you're also pulling your weight down, trying to drain his energy to make you stronger. So yeah, all these different little secrets to add to the game plan all help.
The deprivation and what it takes to actually prepare for fights and how difficult it is. I mean, you're a family man.
Yep.
You have a wife and kids. And I mean, I've just had a son, so I know how difficult it is having a kid. Now I do anyway. But I mean, you've got to be obsessed. I mean, absolutely obsessed to be able to get the job done properly. I mean, how does your family deal with it over and over again, like having a monk in the house?
Yeah, it's easy. My wife's she's a former fighter as well. She only just retired. She's had over 50 fights. When we first met, she was the most famous female in America competing under Muay Thai. So she understands 100% of what I do. And then the kids have been so accustomed to it. Their life's been in the gym from day dot. So they don't know anything. They just think it's normal that Dad beats people up for a living. They think that's what everyone does for a job. It's borderline crazy, but it's just come to the stage now where it's I know what I have to do. Because I spent so long in Thailand, I've just taken that system and brought it back to Australia. And I'm on automatic now. I wake up at 5:30. I'm on the road by 6. I run. I do pads. I kick the bag. I do my sit-ups, push-ups, everything. Afternoon, I repeat. And then I know what sort of exercise I have to put myself through to get myself in physical. I'm my own boss. I don't have a trainer looking after me. I study my own opponents. With my pad holders, I sort of tell him how I want the pads held for me. I bring in my own sparring partners. So I'm very lucky to be as successful as I am, considering I'm doing majority of it by myself. So yeah, I'm truly blessed. I really believe that I've done something right in the past life or something to get where I am now. Because otherwise, I don't know how it's happening. It's just too much of a fluke.
Yeah, right. So looking out 5 years from now, the Wayne Parr 5-year plan. I mean, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I've started a new promotion. It's called CMT, which stands for Cage Muay Thai. So with the popularity of UFC, with the cage, everyone loves UFC at the moment, but they all start booing when the fights go to the ground. So, and they love the Muay Thai. And because I'm good at Muay Thai, I believe I can make a hybrid between the two sports. So I've done three shows already. So I've incorporated, instead of using a ring, I bring a cage, and then I'm using the MMA gloves, the 4-ounce, compared to the 10-ounce boxing gloves. And the 3 shows that I've done so far, they've grown in popularity. It's getting world renowned now. Everyone knows what I'm doing across the world, and it's very violent. So with the UFC, when they stand and trade, they only do a little bit of standing because they're always worried about getting taken down. Whereas with my style, we can just stand in front of each other and just bang for the 5 rounds. So it's very violent. Because the gloves are so small, one good shot and you're pretty much unconscious. But because the fighters are at such a high level, it's really funny that majority of the fights go the distance because everyone's got good defense and good footwork and not getting caught flush. So hopefully that's the future. I have my next show the 1st of March, my 4th show, and then maybe fight on that 2 or 3 more times, try and get the fan base behind it, and then once I get too old or too damaged that I can't fight any longer, that's my baby. That's what I want to try and raise up and hopefully one day be 1/10 of the success of UFC and hopefully be a promoter. And the new breed of fighters are going to be CMT guys.
All right. Okay. Well,
Mate.
Thanks very
Mate,
much.
Thank you very much.
Great.
That was very cool, and thank you very much for the opportunity to come on your show.
Yeah, thanks, man, for joining the circus.
Hey.
Circus Bazaar.